Now, you might be shocked at some of the things that you cannot bring on a cruise that you have not heard before. Now, some of them, if you try to bring them on a cruise, will get you denied boarding, might cost you some extra money, and in one case is actually illegal and can get you arrested. Hi there, I'm Ilana from the website lifewellcruise.com. Welcome back to my channel. Now, I've talked about things that are prohibited on cruise ships before. I'll leave a couple of those videos at the end of this one. However, I've been keeping notes on my phone about some of the new items that are actually banned on cruise ships that we've never heard of before. And recently, there was a case of somebody being arrested. It's a pretty big deal, actually. I will share with you that information. And it is absolutely not what you think. Now, some of these things are going to seem a little bit funny, but I promise you there are some lessons to be learned. Now, before I get started, I did want to mention that if you like this video, if you find it helpful, informative, or enjoyable in any way, then please do give this video a big thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. And please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Let's get started. Number one, you cannot bring flags or banners to hang off your cruise ship balcony. Now, there's a lot of things that you cannot do on a balcony, but some people do want to put flags on their balcony. Now, according to John Heald, who is Carnival's ambassador, he states that no, you cannot bring any country's flag to hang on your balcony. Not only can it be a potential fire hazard and safety hazard, but he says it doesn't aesthetically look very nice either. So if you do want to decorate your cabin, keep those decorations inside. Number two, electric scooters. Now, you are allowed to bring electric scooters on board a cruise ship. However, Carnival did clarify the size specifications of electric scooters. So those really large electric scooters, well, they may not be allowed to be on board the cruise ship. Now, Carnival does have a solution. If that is what you have in terms of electric scooter, they do have a rental that is available for you. And by the way, there are different companies that do offer rentals where you can have a scooter waiting for you at the cruise ship. So that's something you can arrange yourself. Now, some people say, hey, this is a cash grab from Carnival, but I don't think so. What they're saying is the scooter has to actually be able to fit into your cabin and not line the hallways outside the cabin. And that makes sense. People, passengers, crew do have to be able to walk by without having the hallways crowded with scooters. Number three, let's talk about cruise ports, something that you should not do when you're coming back onto the cruise ship after a day in a cruise port of call is bring back seashells. Now, the rules may differ depending on where you're going, and you do want to check as well on the cruise ship. Maybe you are allowed bringing them back to the cruise ship itself, but we were recently in a private island. It was MSC's Ocean Cay Marine Reserve, and we did see a sign that said that it was strictly prohibited to bring the seashells from the island back onto the cruise ship. Now, even if you are allowed to bring seashells on a cruise ship or even on a plane, you do want to make sure that you follow the rules in the country that you are traveling to, because oftentimes they do have rules that you cannot bring the seashells and rocks and sand, that you cannot take it from the island. Now, we are going to get back to cruise ports of call in just a minute, because there was something very serious that happened in a cruise port of call, and I do want to warn you about that. But first, something else that you cannot bring on a cruise ship that I don't think most people have thought about, but it is a portable washing machine. Yes, you heard me right. There was a lady recently that attempted to bring a portable washing machine. It is, in fairness, pretty small, and it is sold on Amazon. She attempted to bring that on a Carnival cruise ship. Now, it was confiscated and I believe given back at the end of the cruise. So it wasn't like she was denied boarding, but she was pretty upset about it and said she was really embarrassed. Now, I have to admit, I haven't thought of bringing a portable washing machine on a cruise ship, but I do have a little hint here. If it is not on my Amazon Cruise Essentials list, I will leave items linked down below in the description of this video. Well, you just don't need it. Number five, knives. Now, in particular in cruise ports of call, sometimes what people do is they decide to buy knives as a souvenir. So they may buy a knife for their child, which apparently has actually happened before. There was one gentleman who was quite upset at Carnival for confiscating the knife that he had bought for his child while in a cruise port of call. My understanding is that this was given back to him at the end of the cruise, but it doesn't mean it will always happen. Now, something that you can do, and I know sometimes people do like to buy knives in particular, like even in Alaska, is if you are going to be buying any of these items, oftentimes reputable stores are actually going to be able to ship this back to your home in the United States for you safely and legally. Which leads me into my next story, which is pretty rare. I've never heard of it before. And by the way, I do have a bonus one at the end that is unfortunately more common than you might think, but I do think it is worth mentioning in this video. So number 6, ammunition. Now, we know that when you go on a cruise ship, you cannot bring ammunition on a cruise ship. But unfortunately, there is a story, it is very recent, of a cruise ship passenger getting off in a cruise port of call in Turks and Caicos. And what happened is he went through a security checkpoint, and somehow it looks like in his backpack, he did have ammunition. Now, I don't know a lot of details about this story. I have read some different articles. Some people say that he actually left the ammunition in his backpack. He had been on a trip before and he didn't check it to make sure that he didn't have the ammunition there. But the point is, in Turks and Caicos, there are very strict laws against having ammunition, and it can and did result in an arrest. And worse yet, this cruise passenger is actually being held in Turks and Caicos for several weeks until his trial or potential sentencing, and he is facing 12 years potentially in prison. This is a really big deal. Make sure that when you go on a cruise or when you travel in general, make sure that you do really check through your luggage, your bags, to make sure that you do not have anything illegal or that could get you in trouble. Now, please let me know your thoughts on that. I definitely have a lot of questions about it, and keeping in mind, we do not know the full story, but I definitely feel really bad for this man who may have just made a big mistake. Now, this next one is actually a little more common and has gotten people kicked off the cruise ship. So it really is important to know you cannot bring CBD or any related substances on the cruise ship. Now, by the way, the reason that I mention it that way on YouTube is I can't say certain words on YouTube. I just don't want to have a problem with the distribution of my video, but I think that you do know what I mean. Now, this is actually, even if it may be legal in many states, it may be legal in the country that you live, it is actually not allowed on cruise ships. Now, there could be a variety of reasons, but one of the reasons is because cruise ships do sail to different countries and it may be illegal there. And in any case, they need to follow those laws. And when you go on a cruise ship, you need to follow the rules as well. And unfortunately, there have been people that have been kicked off the cruise ship midway through their cruise because their cabin attendant has found the substances in their cabin, and maybe even for other reasons. So this is something, you're on a cruise for maybe 3 to 7 days on average, maybe a little bit more, but this is something, honestly, it's just not worth it. Leave it at home. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Please let me know your thoughts on the items that people tried to bring on a cruise ship. And as well, let me know, have you ever had anything confiscated on a cruise ship? Please let me know down in the comments below. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give it a big thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. And please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Bye for now and happy cruising.